windy conditions, so you might go flying. But the game week is still going on. I'm on 66 points, which is a green arrow. I'm around 700k. I've made some really steady progress in the last couple of game weeks. I made some transfers, which I wasn't fully expecting to do, but they've worked out for the best, I think. I took out Gakpo. He was a risk, and it turns out he's not playing this game week anyway. I bought in Cunha. Unfortunately, I did have to put him on my bench because I had a very solid-looking team. With hindsight, maybe I should have risked benching in Bumo, but the likelihood was that I wasn't going to take that risk, and I thought he was going to get something against West Ham. So I have to just take that down as poor luck rather than poor planning, maybe. At least I'm set up nicely for the future. Getting blown away. But because I downgraded Gakpo, it meant that I was able to upgrade Moyes, who has done really well this week, so it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world to keep him. But I've managed to get Slot in, and we're doing well with him so far. 8 points against Wolves at home, and then going into Villa away. It would be really good if we can get a result. Double-digit haul from him would be very welcome for the team, and hopefully keep me on a green arrow. As it stands, I'm actually quite happy with the way my team's set up at the moment. I think I went quite early on Dango, and the same with Cunha, and they would have been the transfers I'd be looking at making this game week. So I can just focus on the assistant manager transfer instead. One concern I do have though, and I wanted to touch on, is Cole Palmer. So we saw the game Chelsea versus Brighton where we just did not look good at all. Despite holding 69.5% possession, we failed to score a single goal. I had such high hopes for Palmer this game week, considering he scored 25 points against Brighton last time thanks to his 4 goals. It was also not helped by the fact that Jackson has been ruled out until April, which meant Palmer played part of the match up front. After losing to Brighton in the cup fixture last weekend, I really thought we'd come back fighting, but there was just nothing. So now that's Palmer's 3rd blank in 4 game weeks, which is becoming frustrating, particularly when he's worth 11.2 million. However, I do think patience is key with this one. As it stands, he's the 3rd most sold player ahead of this week's deadline, and I can understand why managers are frustrated, but I'm reluctant to sell him any time before game week 27 when he plays Southampton followed by Leicester. They're both home fixtures and a well-needed opportunity to improve the team's confidence as they've only had 2 wins in their past 9 league games. These fixtures bode well. Palmer's the 2nd top scoring player in home matches, while Southampton and Leicester are both in the worst 3 clubs for conceding goals in away matches this season. So it looks, oh god, I keep on thinking I've lost my dog, it's fine, he's here. So it looks like I will be keeping hold of Palmer for now, but it is very tempting to reinvest that money elsewhere. In terms of chip strategy, I don't have one. I'm on my final week of the assistant manager chip. I'm still not sure if I'm happy that I've used it, but we're getting green arrows, so I'm not going to complain too much. I could first of all play it safe by doing Slot to Arteta for Arsenal's fixture against West Ham. Alternatively, I could go for Hertzler as Brighton plays Southampton. I think that's quite a nice one to bank on for a Brighton win. And they're also on quite a high. I could see multiple goals after their win against Chelsea. I'm also tempted to go for Glasner. Palace are playing Fulham away and would get table bonus. I'm definitely going to be back in Palace. They're absolutely incredible away from home, and Mateta is a beast. Someone that I really wish that I did own in the game. Unfortunately, I don't at the moment. But in terms of the rest of the chips, I haven't made up my mind on what I'm going to do yet. I think I'm likely to be using the triple captain in double game week 32 on Isak. Newcastle playing Man United and Palace, and they're both home fixtures. But the free hit, wildcard and bench boost, that can take a bit of time. So now for my transfer targets this game week. One thing that I think is lacking in the FPL community is the use of Venn diagrams, so I'm using one with 3 categories to help me with transfer decisions. The first category is form. This will assess whether the player is consistent or perhaps I'm making a bit of a knee-jerk decision. The next category is fixtures. Is now a good time to target players from a certain team, or do their fixtures take quite a heavy swing? Finally, the most important category, fun, because we're all here to have fun. This is the difference between a template pick versus a differential that will actually get me excited about the game. So the players that have caught my eye. Up front, I'm considering Mateta. Now, I am happy with my front 3, but Mateta is too good to ignore at the moment. In terms of form, he scored 7 goals over the past 6 game weeks, accumulating 51 points over that time. I'll have to think carefully about bringing him in, as Palace do blank in game week 29, but that's sandwiched between a home game against Ipswich followed by an away game at Southampton. So maybe that's quite a nice fixture run if my team is in good enough shape ahead of 29. Whether or not the fixtures work for you is very much team dependent. Palace also go on to double in game week 32 against Newcastle and City. It's not the dream fit pair of fixtures, but both teams have conceded a fair share of goals this season, so that's not enough to put me off. He's also only 8.1% owned, so he is a differential, but due to his price at 7.9 million, the easiest route to him would be downgrading Isak, which I don't think I'm keen on doing. So due to that, I don't think I can put him in the fun pick category, because at the moment, Isak, Wood and Cunha will probably bring me a bit more happiness if they were to return rather than Mateta, but he is still there. He may come in the next few weeks. Now, Moreno would be the definition of a fun pick, but he does come with a risk. We saw this game week, he looks to be in fine form. He came off the bench, played out of position as striker and scored 2 goals against Leicester. He was only on the pitch for 21 minutes. Unfortunately, we've got quite a limited sample size, so I can't say whether his form is going to continue. But with Saka out, I'd love to bring in an Arsenal attacker, and at 6 million with only 0.4% ownership, Moreno could be a great route into that. Arsenal also don't blank in game week 29, and they've got a really nice fixture run up until then, with West Ham, Forest, Man U and Chelsea. Considering he's only had 8 starts this season, it's probably a bit too risky to bring him in right now, but one to watch. Then finally Marmoush, who is definitely a fun option. He managed to score a hat-trick in just under 14 minutes, so he's obviously caught my eye. It was great to see him get his first attacking return, followed by a second and a third for City. Hard to judge his form with such a small sample size again, and I don't want to be blinded by that one 17-point performance. He started every game with City since coming in, and I know Pep Roulette can be absolutely ruthless, but I'd be surprised to see him dropped after what he did against Newcastle. I'm not a huge fan of City's fixtures, particularly as they have been struggling this season, although it looks like they're on the up. They're playing Liverpool this week, which will give a good indication onto how they're doing, and maybe I'll bring in Marmoush then. That is everything I've been pondering ahead of the next game week. Pretty sure I will not be bringing in any players or transferring anyone out apart from my assistant manager, and that all depends on what happens in the Liverpool game tonight. So we will see whether it'll be Glasner, Hertzler. I probably won't stay with Slot. Maybe, but a very, very slim chance I'm going to risk it against City. But let me know what your plans are this game week, whether you've got any chips activated, transfer plans, all that kind of stuff. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.